Okay, welcome back everybody. This is going to be a list of the top 10 things that I recommend that people, at least myself, look for when buying a modern striker-fired gun. When I say modern striker-fired gun, I mean a gun that's basically manufactured. It's 2022 when I'm making this video, so I have to live in the present, not in the past. So 2022 and forward, I think if you don't have these 10 items, you're compromising somewhere. And as long as you're making an educated compromise or you're doing it to achieve some goal, that's fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and run down those 10 so I can just use this as an FAQ for the subject. So number one, set is a standard by Glock in the 80s. I would say a 17 round magazine for a modern striker service size pistol. I mean, you see tons of them with 15 round magazines. I think that sucks. It low key pisses me off. And everything I can do to get to 17 rounds, but any gun made today, a full-size striker service gun, should have 17 rounds. I mean, more's better. A gun can't be too big, but a full-size gun, 15 rounds. Even H&K has finally given up the ghost on the 15-round magazine and gone to a 17-round magazine. That's a clue. They are the last people to ever adopt anything or change anything, and even they went that way and realized the 15-round mag is is extinct. The next thing on the list, number two, is going to be an Ambi slide stop. So here's a HK VP9, and you'll notice there's a slide stop on the right side and slide stop on the left side. I think in this day and age, especially with modern guns, I feel like a gun should be readily accessible and usable by the left-handed 10% of the population or whatever that is. And also there's the whole idea of the one-handed manipulation, wounded officer drills. And so I feel like a modern gun today should have a Ambi slide stop. So that precludes every Glock before Gen 5. So yeah, I'm eliminating every Gen 1 through Gen 4 Glocks. Sure, you can get by without them, but in 2022, buying a gun today, every gun should have an Ambi slide stop. There's no excuse not to. And as we're progressing forward and even people are making the low dollar clones, you're seeing more and more guns pick up the Ambi slide stop. So get with the times. If you go to a training class or some kind of qualification where it's semi-serious, you'll thank me because that Ambi slide stop will come in real handy. Number three on the list is the Ambi magazine release. So with a special note, I think the best Ambi magazine release made today is the HK VP9 series. I guess, would this be the VPA? So there's a VPB, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So I am not an H&K nerd, so let me go ahead and preface this. I do not care what you H&K dorks believe or what you think, or, like the sun sets on H&K. It doesn't. H&K is just like every other company, but in this case, the paddles on the VP9 are superior. Here's why. Because you can work it left-handed, right-handed. You can work it left-handed, right-handed, no matter your situation. And also what happens is, let's pretend this empty magazine is a flashlight. The paddle system keeps you from doing flashlight work and activating your magazine release, and it and the magazine drops out of your gun. I've seen it happen dozens of times. That does not happen with the paddle system, but on the VP9s, you don't have to flip the button to left and right. But if I had to choose, if you have two guns being equal and you're not going for a paddle, and you have a gun that's got Ambi buttons that push both ways, or a button that you flip left and right, get the gun that flips. Because I've never seen a gun that has a full ambidextrous push button not cause problems with dropping magazines, either with flashlights or CQB rolling around on the ground. It just happens. Okay, next up on the list, and this is an example of where this gun is imperfect, as I have the VP9 in my hand, is a magwell. I don't believe any gun made in 2022, especially a modern striker-fired gun that's got a polymer frame, shouldn't have some kind of magwell on it. Yeah, you can bevel the magazine well a little bit, do whatever, but there's no reason manufacturers today shouldn't be putting magwells on guns for good, fast reloads. Again, it's not going to be that big of a deal for you just in your regular life. But if you're actually trying to be a performance shooter or doing some kind of qualification or going to gun school, that magazine well is going to come in handy when you're trying to beat the clock or beat everybody else in class. So if you've got it down to 2 guns, one gun has a mag well, one gun doesn't, choose the gun with a mag well every damn time. Number 5, ergonomic grip. VP9, there's a lot of guns that do this. You'll notice, actually, let's go ahead and put it this way. The VP9 is actually a clone of the Walther PPQ. And the Walther PPQ is a striker clone of the HKP30, right? And you'll notice a lot of these guns that are coming out now, there's two schools of these guns that get copied. There's ones that basically all look like VP9s or they all look like Glocks. That's a clue. So, like the Canics look like VP9s to me. The Berettas look a lot like VP9s to me. I'm just saying. So, but in today's day and age, look, I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'1", 240. I've got large hands. There's no reason that gun companies can't be coming out with grips that are adjustable for the size of the shooter. You're a big guy with a little wife, big guy with a little girlfriend. You're a large training officer with a department, and you've got your little 5 foot tall female officer, and she's got little hands, or your short little guy, and they can't get their hands around the gun. That's just crazy in 2022. Gun grips should be configurable today. Now, if you're buying for you and not for everybody else, if the gun comes out of the box and it's not configurable and it fits your hands, march on. But just be aware of it. You're giving up something if that gun has to be used by multiple people. Number 6, red dot cut. In today's day and age, with all the guns that have been coming out in 2022, there is no reason you should buy any gun that doesn't have a red dot. This is a Glock Gen 4 Model 21, 45 ACP. And, I don't really shoot this gun that much. It basically sits as a reference gun in the armory. But, the VP9 that you saw earlier, or any Glocks or any of those striker guns, if they were to be used as serious guns, what would I have to do? I'm going to end up having to go out, find a machine shop, and pay to have the thing cut for a red dot. Go ahead, skip that stuff. Buy a gun today with a red dot. Even if you're not planning on using a red dot, you're not a red dot guy, we don't know what the future is going to look like. For all you know, in 15 years, there'll be some crazy hologram looking thing that auto targets, whatever computer crazy AI type of sight ends up on a gun in the future that none of us ever saw coming. You'll be ready to go because you've got some kind of optics cut on your modern striker gun. Trust me, get something with an optics cut, even if you're not going to use it, because you'll regret it later. Number 7, forward cocking serrations. This gun doesn't have forward cocking serrations on it. And again, I was alive and in the game back in the day when everybody was, all the cool kids were like, you cannot, this is dangerous, you're going to blow your fingers off. But guess what happened? Those dudes now carry appendix and run red dots on their guns. So things change. And guess what happens when you run a red dot on your gun? The last thing you want to be doing, if you can avoid it, is grabbing that red dot and messing with it, and possibly adjusting it or turning it off or doing whatever, even racking the screen if you don't have to. If you want to admit the gun with forward cocking serrations, it gives you a better purchase. So even if you're not planning on running a gun with a red dot, but you want the options in the future, if it has a plate, doesn't have forward cocking serrations, you will miss that in the future. Make sure you choose the gun with the forward cocking serrations. Number 8, ledge, rear sight, or hard cocking surface on your gun. In today's day and age, there's no reason you should have iron sights on your gun that you can't, in an emergency, take that rear sight and cock it on your belt, cock it on your boot, cock it on a table, whatever it is you want to do, because you may find yourself in a class or training scenario where you have to do one-handed manipulation with your gun, and it's easier to do that with a ledge on the rear side of your gun. Now, Glocks. This is a Glock 35 Gen 4, so it's a 40. This didn't come with these sights. I think these are Wilson Vickers sights. You buy a Glock, you're going to have, chances are you're going to have to trash the sights anyway. Just go ahead and factor in, you're going to need ledge sights on the rear of the gun. I mean, I would even personally choose ledge sights over night sights in 2022. I think you should as well. Number 9 on the list, accessory rail on the front of your gun. There's different types of accessory rails out there, and over lots of years of use and experience, I have come back around to just having 1913 Picatinny rails on the guns. And the reason is a lot of these universal rails, there's a lot of slop in them, or there's slight differences, where Picatinny rails tend to be, they have that pretty much figured out. And a lot of accessories are no matter what people do, like back in the day, we had like these goofy proprietary H&K rails, like all this goofy crap. And, you're just screwed with that today. 1913 rails not going away. Even in, the age of M-Lock and Key Mod, we've gone through all of that. And guess what happens? That pick rail, at least at the very top, pick rail never disappears, and people discover, oh my gosh, pick rail actually does a better job at maintaining zero on some of this stuff. Get a gun with an accessory rail. I prefer a pick rail, but you could get away with either. Special note, if you're going to put a Surefire flashlight on your gun, and there's a Surefire X300A or the Surefire X300B, the X300A will piss you off because no matter the universal one, no matter what you do, whether you use a pick rail or universal insert on that light's going to jiggle and move on that gun. And if you have a holster that uses the Surefire flashlight to kind of basically hold the gun in place, it can cause issues with your draw or slow your draw or perceive you don't feel like, your gun rattles, and you don't feel like everything is secure, and it causes all kinds of drama. So I say get the Surefire X300B that's got the screw little lever and tighten it down and keep it. But that's a little side note on the accessory rails for pistols. Get one, absolutely. Number 10 on the list, manageable trigger. In 2022, there is no reason why you should have a striker-fired gun that's got like a New York 1 or New York 2 trigger in it. I mean, triggers are very subjective. People, a lot of times when they get on the internet or they make videos, they see them pulling the trigger and they're like, ooh, I think it's 3 pounds around whatever. You don't know. They don't know. Chances are when you get the trigger scales out and you actually measure the stuff, things are way off. It's, it's a reflection of leverage, your hand size, personal strength, all kinds of things. So, there's, if you get a gun that you're buying it out of the store and you got to turn around and drop a $200 trigger in it, 2022, the fuck? I mean, just forget that. And also, you may be in a situation where you're not allowed to do that. You have to use OEM equipment for OEM insurance and liability or permissions, because maybe you're not carrying a gun as a private citizen. Maybe you're carrying a gun under the aegis of somebody else. So, these ideas like this gun's perfect for this department or this gun's perfect for that group. Well, is that perfect with a factory trigger, or is that perfect with your aftermarket trigger that might make some of the safeties or drop safe stuff borderline? And even then, can the trigger be installed so all that stuff is good? One dude's trigger passes all that fine. Next dude's trigger, because maybe it wasn't quite installed right or there's some QC control issues, it doesn't pass the drop test. You're going to get hung out to dry on that. Buy guns with good triggers today. It's 2022. Nobody makes a bad trigger on a gun anymore. Now for the bonus item. Get a gun with a trigger guard that's big enough to use with gloved hands. Pro tip also, 1911s are terrible with gloved hands. The GI trigger works with gloved hands, but you start going into long triggers and extended triggers, you really can't get that gloved hand in there. And so what's the point? Why the gloved hand thing? In 2022, if this is a service gun, a carry gun, you're actually using this gun every day and every night, whether you're working, professionally or a private citizen. You don't ever spend time in the cold. You wear gloves. Oh, I know a lot of guys that won't wear gloves because their gun doesn't fit in their gloves. You need to, whatever gun you're looking at, you need to make sure that, that gloved hand will actually activate that trigger and also won't set it off accidentally. You need to have positive control on the gun. So, and positive control of the trigger. The Glock is pretty decent, The more modern guns, a lot of these older guns, especially like the 1911, the modern ones, the modern 1911 that has got these long triggers, you'll find dudes can't run them with gloves. So there's your bonus. That transcends all guns, not just striker guns, but keep that in mind. So if you want to see any more stories or pictures or links of this kind of content, please go to our website at John1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.